Hey guys, APG40 here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over the pros and cons of the Apex Pro TKL to figure out if it is worth it for Fortnite. If you don't know what the Apex Pro is, it's a new keyboard from SteelSeries that came out 3 or 4 months ago, I believe, and its main feature is omnipoint switches. These switches are extremely fast switches. The normal Cherry MX speed switch has a 5 millisecond delay and a 1.2 millimeter actuation point, while the omnipoint switches have a 0.7 millisecond delay and a 0.4 minimum actuation point. That means that the delay in the omnipoint switches is almost 8 times better than the normal Cherry MX speed switches, and the actuation point is 0.4 millimeters compared to 1.2 millimeters, which is a huge difference. Plus, the durability on the keyboard is 100 million key presses versus its Cherry MX is 50 million key presses. Over the past few months that the keyboard's been out, many pro players such as Booga, mongraal, and Benji have switched over to the keyboard, mongraal being the first one that I saw to use the keyboard. The main reason these pros switch to the keyboard is for the speed, but one problem with that Booga had with the keyboard is that he said on stream that it was too sensitive to his fingers, and he's going on and off of it for the past week or so. A feature of this keyboard that can solve the problem is the software included with the keyboard that you can download on SteelSeries' website. You can change the actuation from anywhere from 0.4 to 3.6. So if 0.4 millimeter actuation is too sensitive for you, then you can bump it up to 0.8, and if it's still too sensitive, you can keep going higher. Now the real question that's on all your minds is this keyboard worth it for Fortnite? From my experience, this keyboard is really nice to use. The switches feel great, and everything just feels faster, like almost like I was on 0 ping when I first picked it up, which felt really nice. It's very smooth to build with, and the response time is just insanely fast. Like, I could tell a huge difference at first. I had to even retrain like my muscle memory in editing, and once I did that, my editing got way faster. I did also have to retrain my muscle memory when hitting my keys. For example, like my edit key, I never realized how much I actually touched it before I got this keyboard because it's very sensitive on 0.4 millimeters. So I had to retrain myself to not hit my edit key, because even if I hit it like a little bit, like it's not like if I touch it, it's going to actuate, but if I press it down a little bit, it's going to actuate. So I had to get used to not doing that. And also the keycaps, I had to switch out the keycaps because they were ABS keycaps, which are not as durable as PBT double shot keycaps. So I put my rubber keycaps and white and black caps on this for my Ducky keyboard. I just transferred it all into here, and it feels much better. So if you're gonna buy this keyboard, you might as well get keycaps with it too. The keystrokes on this keyboard are on the louder side, and I will do a sound test right here. This keyboard can also help in certain situations. For example, if it has a faster actuation point and faster reaction time, then theoretically your shotgun can pull out faster when you're in the middle of like a box fight or something. And theoretically you would be able to edit faster if you're used to it. Now another thing that I really like about this keyboard that doesn't have that much to do gameplay wise, there's an OLED screen on the top right next to the knob where you can adjust the actuation point. And you can put any logo in it from your computer, so if you upload a file from your computer, it'll put it on the screen. And I put my APG40 logo on it, and I think it looks sick, and it's really cool. Like, it's actually one of my favorite things about the keyboard. Like, I can just look down, and the logo's right there, and it's really cool. Now, one thing to think about when buying this keyboard is the size. Now, I know 60% has been the wave for, like, over a year and a half. Ever since like Tfue started using the Ducky and the Ampro 2 started coming out, everyone's using 60% boards. But the Apex Pro is a TKL, which means that it's basically a 60% with F keys and arrow keys. So it is bigger. So if you're like a low sensitivity aimer and you need all the space you can, it might not be the best for you if it gets in your way. Or if you don't have any space, like more space for more things on your keyboard in general, then you might not want to buy this keyboard because it's almost like 2 inches longer than a 60% keyboard would be, and it's also taller because there's F keys on the top row. Another huge factor about the keyboard is the price. This keyboard is a really good keyboard, and because of that, it's expensive. It costs $180 on their website right now, which is quite a bit of money for a keyboard. A Ducky costs $100, the Amp Pro is like $80, so this keyboard will not run cheap. However, if you have the money and you're willing to spend the money, I would definitely recommend buying this keyboard. I got it as a Christmas gift personally, and that was the only thing I got for Christmas because, like I said, it was very expensive. But ever since then, I've just loved the keyboard. It's really, really good to use. It's my favorite keyboard that I've ever used. It just feels so smooth, the switches are so fast, and just the feel of it in general, I really like the keyboard. Now, if you don't have a ton of money to work with and really want the keyboard, I'd just say you should skip it for now unless you have the money. The keyboard you have now should do you well unless it's like a really, really bad keyboard. But if you right now you have like an Amp Pro, Ducky, a Matrix, like anything on that line, like a Logitech keyboard, it should do you good. And if you don't have the money to spend on the Apex Pro, I don't think it's gonna affect you heavily. Like, obviously you could do things faster and smoother on the Apex Pro, but it's not like you're gonna be a better player. Like, a good keyboard is not what makes you a good player. A lot of the best players in the world don't even use this keyboard. Like, Zayt and Saf are two of the best players in the world. They haven't switched to this keyboard. Zayt's been using an Ant Pro for the longest time. So, that is going to be pretty much it for my video. To sum it up in a very quick statement, my answer for if the Apex Pro is worth it is yes, if you have the money and you're willing to buy it. No, if you don't have the money and already have a decent keyboard that is functioning and that can get you, like, good performance. If you're bored and want to keep watching, I do have one of my most recent montages in the end of the video. The last 3 minutes or so of the video is my last montage that I made. So if you want to stick around and watch it, I would really appreciate it. I worked really hard on that montage.
Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like, yeah. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the, y'all don't really want it like, yeah. Here comes the, here comes the, here comes the, y'all don't really want it like, TKL. I said so, I keep big bills up in my heart, don't look dirty like blood, so ain't got no twist in my head, but I'm still dreadful, and I got plenty of bread, so I go to bed full line. In it to win it, I'm all in. I might call you my cuz, young blood, to win again. You think you're jumping, man, you just think you can. The dirty, I'm the type of man that might go broke for revenge. Has some not so nice friends, kick the door off the hinge. Take the door off the bench, for all your friends, man, please. This is cynical, men are subliminal. I'm physical, financial, and mental to be a general. Hey, oh my God, there's a dog. Not the type he in the type man, please, I'm in the zone like AIDS full blown. I'm killing it like a blind man reading. I'm feeling it like, oh yeah, here comes the, here comes the, here comes the, y'all don't really want it like, yeah, here comes the, here comes the, here comes the, y'all don't really want it like, yeah, here comes the, here comes the, here comes the, y'all don't really want it like, yeah, here comes the, here comes the, when he know he's off his butter, he ain't never been a fighter. You can go and ask his mother. I'm a lover and a fighter. Fighter, I say, and a writer. Writer, girl, a quick fix and give your man a nice shiner. You know, y'all don't really want it. And I can tell just by looking at you that you the type to run and go and tell me by looking at you. You on a mission for recognition by dissing. Didn't have no problem till the record started breaking. But y'all don't really want it. So let me tell you the deal. I'm also serious. I'm dirty. I'm no longer for real. I'm like a hop, skip and jump, a clock, grip on the clock. From leaving you in the trunk, so what the bird come. But y'all don't really want it, so quit acting like you're dead. I'm looking to my right, trying to see who's left. So you better watch it for I stick to the plan and be the next artist to run up in your stand. Like, yeah, here comes the